that.
Okay. Here we go. Okay, at this time I'd like to call to order the September 20th, 2023 regular meeting of the Royal Oak Downtown Development Authority. At this time we will have public comment. If you want to address the board, now would be the time. If you have an item on the agenda, you could do so later. But anything else, now would be the only time to speak to the board. Is there anybody here? Yes.
Good afternoon, Carol Hennessy, Royal Oak. I've been talking to you about getting the St. Patrick's Day Parade back into Royal Oak, and I've been working on it with some great people, and I would like to introduce the new chairman, Al Carter, and he'll be doing it for next year. I'll still be helping out, but
It's not going anywhere.
I can't do it all myself, and he volunteered, so he's
Excellent.
a great Irishman, so I think it'll work out great.
Looking forward to it, definitely.
And we're working on a budget, and so we'll supply you with the budget as soon as we have everything together, and we can go
Very
from
good.
there. That's right with you.
Yeah, very good. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you
Okay.
very much.
Anything to say?
Just look forward to a great parade. I'm excited.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Ms. Harris.
Not sure whether, Bill Harrison, not sure whether you're going to have public comment on the Fifth Street thing. The only question I have is at the railroad tracks, the alley or traffic pattern going along the railroad tracks. By the drawing, I really can't see that there's a clear path from 4th Street over to 6th Street. Am I missing something?
I don't have an answer for you on that.
Okay, maybe
I
you
know
can
we
address
met
that
as
at the
we
time.
met as a committee,
Yeah.
and went through, spent a lot of time going through the document and sent our thoughts over to the architects.
I see.
But this is, again, just a reminder, this is for all the people. We're in the very, very early stages of
Oh, I
this.
understand.
And nothing has been etched in stone, and we're still dealing with, you know, what we think might be good and bad for that site. So I honestly, I don't have a good answer for you at this time.
Well, that's why I'm commenting, because I know it's in the early stages, and this seems to be an improvement over what they had before. And all I'm saying is make sure that we've got a clear path along the railway between 4th and 6th.
Yeah, that's an excellent thought, and I think we'll be able to pass that along to make sure.
There should also be, the drawing before extended a little further north and south, and there should also be unloading space for the bars, because we've got several bar restaurants, particularly between 5th and, well, between 4th and 6th. So we need, we want to get rid of the parking along there. That's helpful for the retailers, and we need a space for the beer trucks to park to unload. So that's my comments.
Okay, thank
Thanks.
you.
Yep.
Thank you, Ms. Harris. Who's next? Yes, it's all.
Good afternoon, my name is Frank Hoberst, and I'm here for 408 South Washington. Looks like the year is going to pass us by, and we still have a dirt alley behind our building. I was hoping that we were going to make some improvements, but we got 6 weeks before the asphalt plants close. We have a dirt alley, and we have rats. We have lots of rats. I don't know how much longer we're going to wait, but I recall, and there's no point, it's been a dirt alley since the 20 years I've owned the building, but it's time to pave the alley and just get rid of these rats. We have a 2-foot, 18-inch drop-off outside of our building from Lily's Seafood Grill, and nothing meets ADA. Paving the alley would move us forward. And on a second note, the streetlights have been out on South Washington all of this month, and they've been out for August. How come? You know, it's very dark. So if we can get the streetlights back on, it would be lovely. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else want to address the board today? Yes.
Yes, John Witt's reporting on the holiday festival. Since we did not have it on the agenda, I just wanted to give everyone an update that we still have some strong optimism on moving this event forward due to a recent development of Frankenmuth saying that they are still very interested in doing a Christmas market. I'm trying to get that. I'm supposed to have a letter of intent from them today, or a letter of agreement. It should be in the next couple days. At the point in the planning process, and again, I'm representing the chamber here, we are in agreement that the Frankenmuth piece is critical to moving the event forward. The investment from the DDA is significant, and we do not want to take the event forward unless we have that piece, which would combine with the skating rink, which would combine with carriage rides, which would combine with a lot of school and family programming, all of which are ready to go. So that is a quick report. We will have an answer to you well before your next meeting, probably within the next 5 to 7 days, and appreciate everyone's patience. This is worth waiting for if we can get it, and if we don't get it, I think we can figure out on our own and bring something back for 2024. But the amount of the contribution from the DDA is significant, and we do not want to bring anything but something that we feel really strong about before we move forward. So just wanted to bring that update to the board. Thank you all for your patience, and we'll be in touch very, very soon.
Thank you. Thanks for that update. Anybody else want to address the board today?
Hey, Mike. I want to personally introduce the next public comment, Miss Ashley Banks, and also welcome her to the city as a new clothing retailer on 108 West 4th Street. And a personal recommendation to a next open vacancy on the DDA as she is interested.
Okay. Hi.
Hi, my name is Ashley.
Did you want to tell us about yourself and your business?
Just a quick little bit about myself.
Okay.
I'm a yoga teacher, a Pilates instructor, I'm a performer, and I've opened up Tees by Nora Leather over on 108 West 4th Street. I enjoy being a part of the community. We had a great time at Arts, Beats, and Eats, and I look forward to continuing to grow relationships here.
I apologize, I don't know your location or where you're going to be.
I'm right at 108 West 4th
She's
Street.
right down the street.
Okay, perfect.
Come by and see me.
All right. Thank you very much. Well, welcome. Okay, if there's no other public comment, I will close public comment at this time. And back to the regular agenda. Approval of the meeting minutes. And there's two of them, August 16th regular meeting and August 23rd special meeting. Director Dunstan.
I'll move both meetings, approval of both meetings.
Motion by Director Dunstan.
Second.
Second by Director Leclave. Any discussion regarding the minutes, changes? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? And that motion passes. Item number 4 is monthly expenses. A is monthly expenses. Those would be for informational purposes. If you have any questions for staff, I'm sure they can answer them at this time. Seeing none, I'll move on to item B. Daniel, do you want to lead us into this, or did it come from you or Tim?
No, I'll lead into it. You'll see in the
cover memo that the DDA board approved sponsorship for the Royal Oak Arts Council at its July meeting in an amount not to exceed $3,000, subject to submission of actual paid expenses. Those expenses have been submitted. The total request is $1,074.63. As part of that, there were a couple items just for clarity on it. The original request was for included beverages and food. There were a couple items that covered beer and wine items. I just point that out. That's included in that dollar amount. There is a suggested resolution authorizing payment of that amount.
Okay. We have a suggested resolution in front of us. It's the action of the board.
Motion to approve?
Motion by Director Leclerc,
Support.
supported by Director Brake. Any discussion regarding this item? Director Dunstan.
I just want to say I worked at the event and it was very well done and very well attended. And there was no beer and wine at the church where I was. Or there was maybe some wine, but Sunday only.
Rain didn't stop the show either, so it was fun.
Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion passes. Okay. Item number 5 is a 45-day review for Royal Oak Pride. What's the wishes of the board on this? Director Dunstan.
Well, I'd like to suggest that all 3 of these events get initial review with the marketing and event committee, and then come back to this body.
Okay.
I think it just allows for better conversation and also gives everybody a little bit more time to prepare. And if there is any concerns that in between that time, it'll be the first week in October, I believe, then everybody will have a chance to address anything that might be an issue. But I don't know, Tim or Paul, if I'm talking about wanting to push all 3 of these back to the committee, do I have to one at a time, these guys, because they're 3 separate agenda items?
No, I think you're fine with making a motion to refer all 3 at once. And
Okay, then
they're informational items, really. There's no specific action required on any of these. All of these are done pursuant to agreements that have been signed and executed by the DDA. Each one of these requires that you just review it within 45 days after the event. So, in the way the agreements are set up, it says the DDA, so you're the full body, and that's the only reason we bring it here first before they go anywhere else. So, we can structure those agreements differently in the future. If you're always going to want them to go to the committee first, we can say that in the agreements. But because the agreements specifically spell out DDA review, I always put it on the board agenda. But if you want to refer them all to the marketing committee, one motion can cover it, or you can separate them if you think some of them need to go and others don't.
All right. Then I'm going to move that agenda items 5, 6, and 7 get moved. The initial reviews, at least, get moved to the October Marketing Events Committee meeting.
Motion by Director Dunstan.
I'll second you.
Second by Director Leclerc. Discussion?
The only thing I would say is, I know if everybody insists on doing this today, then we can do it today, but, otherwise, I think it's October 3rd or 4th. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's the 3rd.
Third, okay.
I can also say, to support the motion, I have had conversations with other board members regarding one or all of these reviews and these events, and there is some things that potentially need to be discussed regarding those, and I think this is the appropriate way to do that. So I will be in support of the motion. I have a motion, or
Just one
Director
comment.
Van Ness.
It looks like the three agreements do require, the parties to agree to meet, to discuss and so forth. And since we're kind of unilaterally changing that term, and I believe somebody's here on behalf of each of the groups, I think it might be appropriate to have each group just acknowledge that they're agreeing with Director Dunstan's motion to move the meeting, since the
Okay.
contract, on its face requires it.
okay. And as Director Dunstan said, if anybody insists upon it, I suppose we could do the reviews today. I thought that would be a better forum, I guess, than here at this table, but whatever the wishes are. So first being Royal Oak Pride. I'm sorry?
Completely up to you guys.
Okay, you have no objection to moving it to the committee level? Thank you. And that's be like October 6th, did you say? Third. Thank you. Next would be Arts, Beats and Eats?
Yes.
Okay. And Taco Fest also? Okay. Okay, that being said, if all the parties are in agreement, does that work, Mr. Vaness?
Yes, thank you for satisfying my lawyer brain.
There you go. Okay, if there's no further discussion, then I will call for the vote to send these to committee. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? And that motion passes. Okay, so that brings us down to item number 8, which is the 5th Street Design Update Report. Mr. Twain.
Well, very briefly, the Infrastructure Committee did meet its last meeting and discussed the design and cost estimates that are in front of you today. Before we passed on their discussion items to Fleiss and Vanderbroek, I wanted to make sure all of the board members had an opportunity to weigh in on the design and concurred with some of the committee's concerns. Basically, from my note to the meeting with the committee was in favor of removing the water feature that's proposed. The committee needed additional information on the misters that are proposed with other styles, options, and how they would work, where the water source, et cetera, would come from. The pop-up retail kiosks, which are the square red boxes, and there's 3 of them, I believe, shown. They felt they should be reconfigured into more of a village layout rather than the random placement that's shown. There was questions on how the festoon lights were going to be installed, and do we need as many as are depicted in terms of the number of strands. That kind of led into a discussion of how much lighting is actually needed and needing more detail on the lighting plan. There was concern about needing bollards or other control devices at the Washington intersection in order to control vehicle driving down the closed 5th Street, as there appeared to be a gap. The circle lighting that's depicted over the Washington Avenue intersection is expensive. Some felt that it may be overkill for the area and may create a visual barrier rather than trying to tie both sides of 5th Street together. Again, back to the lighting area, the column lights that are proposed and shown, the committee thought maybe that might be enough lighting, and again, the need for a lighting analysis on lighting to determine whether there's too much or not enough. Another concern was it was tough for some to visualize without a cross section of the area showing some elevations, perhaps a 3D view, or even the preparation of a fly-through video. And then the last item from my notes were that the kiosks that are shown, 2 of them, one on each side of Washington Avenue, not sure they added value, and there was a comment that they're not maintained in good order, that they've created problems at kiosks in the past where they've been used. That's kind of my general list of items. There was discussion, as I said, on the cost sheet. Just for everyone's information, the first page of the cost estimate is for an estimate of the entire project from the railroads to Lafayette. The second page is for breaking out the segment from Washington to Lafayette, if you wanted, just so you had some idea of each segment's cost as far as the estimates go. One other item I'll point out there, the utility items listed as per engineering department would be covered under the water and sewer fund related to improvements that they would do at the same time this project would go on. With that, I don't know if committee members want to add anything else, or Daniel wants to add something else to the conversation. But again, this is simply trying to make sure everybody on the DDA board is kept up to date on what's going on, and if you concur or have other items that we're making sure we're passing those on.
Mr. Twing covered most of my comments that I gathered as well from the committee as well as through the process. The only things I'll add is the committee felt favorable towards the tabletop intersections, feeling as though it added a level of safety to those intersections that are often, we get feedback on folks trying to cross there and it being dangerous. They also felt as though they wanted to see more fixed seating and less flexible seating. So more things like that on the Washington to Lafayette portion where they're seeing fixed seat walls, and less of the bistro table, farmhouse table, all of those different options. And then the final note that I had that was also was the archway next to the railroad tracks. They wanted some more detail as well as some potential other options as to whether or not that would truly unite the space or if it would more so break it up and make it seem more disjointed.
Okay. I want to inform the board that I did put in a request to Mr. Twing that when our suggestions went back and Fleece and Vanderbrink were ready to bring us the next round of information, that I'm requesting that he put together a meeting of both committees, whether it be a study session or a posted meeting or such, because I think it would be beneficial to have everybody at the table for the next round, which is each round gets us a little bit closer to where we want to be. So we'll probably plan on that as a substitute to one of either the next infrastructure meeting or consumer marketing committee, and just have a joint meeting for the entire board.
Makes sense.
So that would be the next step that I would hope for. If there is anything, Mr. Director Keith.
Yeah, I just had 2 things. One is I really like the idea of us being able to track our comments. I'd really like to make us be able to have a list of comments from the board at least that we can truly identify to say yes or no, so it's a document that we can reference in the future for decisions made. And then, Tim, I just wanted to confirm, did you have something about the spray? Was there a water feature still that was looking to be included in that?
The misters. The
misters, right? So, I mean, I was thinking we were trying to stay away from things we needed to winterize and water in general.
Yeah.
So I thought that was the initial approach from the last set of comments. So I just wanted a little bit of understanding of how that got brought into the mix, which is kind of why I think we need to make sure we have documented comments on the next round.
Yeah, I think, well, Director Staten can confirm this, but I think the discussion was that as a whole, the committee didn't think we should have the one water structure or feature in there. And we were saying, I think we felt the misters were kind of a maybe, maybe not type thing.
Yeah, we were surprised to see both the water feature and the misters in this round. And I think that we've communicated clearly, made clear that we do not want the water feature. The misters, the backup information that they provided was very ambiguous, so we're looking for much more detail on that before we can, absolutely say yay or nay. But I think that we are in agreement that something that has to be winterized is not ideal in this in this case or in a setting like this, when we have to depend on people who are not necessarily versed and trained in these pieces of equipment and the ongoing maintenance of them and that sort of thing. We would like to see something a little bit less maintenance
Correct. Yeah.
onerous.
Perfect. That's all.
The other item that we did discuss that hasn't been brought up is the Stagecrafter sign that is existing on Washington now, and its fate is still TBD. So that's just an element that's not actually really shown on this drawing. So it's something that we mentioned, and I think we'll need some resolution on that.
Perfect. Thank you.
Well, it's kind of outlined, there's not a lot of detail on it, it's still shown as being left, and I don't know if you can see the asterisk, it's highlighted there.
I think
But the question was, did you want to keep it or have it removed, and that's the decision that's still out there.
Is that the dotted line, and that's the
Yes.
Stagecrafters? Okay, just trying to make sure that I understand.
Again, there's no action today, if there was something you think the committee's not addressing that you'd like addressed, it was an opportunity to get input from board members that are not party to the committee.
Yeah, all input is certainly welcomed in this, and the more we get, I think the more, and I appreciate the comments that came from the audience too, and we'll make sure that we're addressing those things also.
Will we have in the next round a 3D version?
I don't know. Tim, you were going to talk to them about that?
We got to talk to them about whether it's going to be cross sections, 3D elevation version, or kind of a fly-through video, and see what we need to, so that everybody can get an idea of how the space is, and rather than just a plan view.
Perfect. Thank you.
Do they have any drainage or talk about any drainage under that synthetic turf?
Pardon me?
Is it ever, drainage underneath that synthetic turf? Has it ever been mentioned or brought up?
Well, they haven't engineered it yet, but yes, there will be.
Okay. I was just wondering. Just think of animals utilizing that turf.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing something more and something different. I had a little initial problem deciphering these drawings as they appear right now, so I think I'm more excited about the next round and what they can bring forward. And I'm sure at the next round, this board, the entire board, will be able to put together another list that we'll send back to them for, things we like, things we don't like, so that we're all on the same page. Anything else regarding this item? Okay. Next item is Small Business Saturday. Daniel.
Yes, so bringing this to you in September this year rather than October. We know how supply chains can get, and we didn't want to run into that with ornaments this year. So essentially, this is building off of what we did last year for Small Business Saturday, with some tweaks made due to feedback that was collected from participating businesses as well as folks that took part in the day. So first and foremost is reducing the number of ornaments that we purchased this year from 5,000 to 3,000, creating a little bit more of a scarcity, more of a collector's item. This year I'm proposing, instead of doing the normal ornament, doing a light up ornament. So in this, these ornaments can come in frosted red, green, white, or blue. As you can see on the last page of this proposal, I've designed a simple but effective ornament with snowflakes to complement the last 5 designs that we've done. With that, what we do with this is we provide them to the retailers that on Small Business Saturday specifically, folks that come into store and they spend a minimum amount, I believe $25 was in this proposal, $10, that spend a minimum of $10. Last year's $50. We got some feedback that that was a little steep for an ornament, and so we adjusted this year. There's still a minimum amount, but definitely more reachable for folks that are out and about shopping this holiday season. Essentially, they spend minimum $10, and the retailer provides them with this limited edition ornament for them to take home or to the office or wherever to put on their tree, their shelf, however they want to celebrate with it. And then we would reuse the bags that will be left over from Shop Royal. The Downtown Royal Oak branded, last year we had a number left over. This year I'm hoping for less left over, but still some to use for this event. And then the other 2 pieces specifically for approval here being the custom branded gloves. So as part of Shop Royal, we're doing a custom branded hat, limited supply, that are fun little giveaways to provide to folks we see out and about shopping. This falls in line with what the Detroit Partnership does around their holiday season. So they'll have their volunteer team members out on the street handing out business socks that say Detroit, handing out gloves, hats, anything with their branding, and it kind of helps pay it forward to get their branding out there into the community. So focusing on gloves that are something people can use right there in the moment on Small Business Saturday when it will likely be cold, as well as things that they can take out and about and wear all winter long to essentially advertise for us. So covered the ornaments and the gloves. The last portion is the hot beverages. Last year we set up some nice little 10 by 10 tents in the closed portion of 5th Street to mix reviews. That added a little bit of too much of a barrier for folks that were already out and about shopping. They then had to go over to 5th Street to get their retail passport, to get their coffee. So this year, shifting with the retail passport that's already been approved as part of the Downtown Dollars plan, having those started at the retailers, and then working with our local coffee shops and tea rooms at a budgeted amount similar to what we did last year. But we would work with them to offer select beverages to where folks come in and they have a sticker on their retail passport started, then the DDA would provide them a free hot beverage that day. And this is a way of uplifting our coffee shops while we uplift our retailers, while also getting folks the chance to say they've never been to the office coffee shop before. This is the chance for them to go try a free beverage, maybe fall in love with the new business. The last piece, so this is something that did go before the committee in August. They were supportive of recommending this. The only thing that we did not move forward with at that time was the ornament design due to the long process of approving a design last year. I felt it best to just bring the design to the board to prevent as much shifts and changes and design by committee as possible. Lastly, this proposal is approximately $1,500 over budget, so it would require a budget amendment eventually down the road. And I will yield to questions.
I have 2 questions real quick. One, Daniel, what was our expenditure on Small Business Saturday last year?
If you include free parking, I think it was about $30,000, but I'd have to double check that number. That's just firing at the hip.
Okay. And are we using our normal means of marketing for this event?
Yes, this will be marketed through our regular posters we provide to the businesses, through social media, and then also activating the advertising channels that we already pay for. So things like radio and TV, this will be slotted into some of that messaging as well.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Von Staden.
Has a I'm sorry if it's in here, but is a date certain? Has the date been determined?
Yes, it's always the Saturday after Thanksgiving.
Okay.
I apologize, I probably didn't include that in
Well,
here.
maybe I should have known that.
November 25th will be Small Business Saturday this year.
November. Okay.
Director Keith.
Yeah, on the ornaments, I wasn't sure, I mean, how well that was taken last year, but I really like the beanie idea of what we're using for some of the other things, if that, you know, and I love the glove idea. I think the gloves are great. I like that touch of being able to do it, like, that's more branding than the ornament, which I know that's branding, but at the same time, so I didn't know if there's ways that we could integrate more of that into the mix rather than, not saying rather than the ornament, but maybe it would be a choice of an ornament or, you know, so I don't know, I'm just trying to get more gloves and hats out into the world.
If the board would like, I can reduce ornament quantity and focus on other items like gloves and hats as well.
Just a comment, I guess.
Yeah.
Anything else? Okay, so we have 4 different resolutions here. I guess it could go either way. We could either take them all at once, or if the board wants to take them one at a time, because they have an issue with one, then
I'd like to suggest that the resolutions be reworked somewhat, and forgive me if this is clumsy, but I'd like to give Daniel the sort of authority to decide whether or not he's going to get 3,000 ornaments or 2,000 ornaments and replace it with the additional beanies perhaps, or the gloves, and give him the flexibility to, within a certain dollar amount, to be able to react to trends in the marketplace at the time. So if we can simply allocate the additional $1,600 and give him the authority to do what he needs to do in order to get the giveaways.
great idea. I agree with that.
That's in the form of a motion.
So let's see if I can do this. I'd like to make, so I would move to
Approve the resolution.
approve the resolutions, but alter them to provide Daniel the ability to direct the funds towards those items of most consequence to the giveaway program, and approve the additional $1,600 to the budget.
Support.
Okay, very good. I have a motion by Director Fonstaine, seconded by Director Brink. Director Legasso, did you have anything?
I support it.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
well stated. Daniel, we trust you.
Well stated.
Daniel, thank you.
Pressure.
Yeah. Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? And that motion passes. Item number 10, anything here, Tim, you want to bring before the board, or just leave these for informational?
Nothing that I want to bring for informational items.
Okay, so we have 3 reports there for the board's review. Is there anything else that anybody would like to address the board at this time?
I have 2 items I'd like to bring up.
Sure.
One of them is in regards to the 45-day review. I did talk with Shelley Kemp at the Chamber. They're close to having their information packet ready on the summer concert series. It wasn't ready for including with today's agenda, but since you're in the process of referring all these back to committee, and she's fine with that, could I get a motion to have it go to the committee first before I bring it here in October and punt it back again?
Motion.
Motion by Director Leclave.
Second.
Second by Director Dunstan. Okay. So the summer concert series will go directly to committee for their review along with these other ones.
The last item I would, just for your information, I believe the Arts Beats and Eats agreement with the City Commission will be on their agenda on Monday. It's my tentative understanding. just for your info.
Okay, I need a quick voice vote on the summer concert series going to
I
committee.
thought you did that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? And that motion passes. Okay, if there's nothing else,
Can I, so just a quick update for the board. In this packet, Arts Beats and Eats Downtown Dollars redemption was at 29. Just to keep everybody in the know, we're now at 34%. We're continuing to outpace what redemption was last year by about 5 to 7%, depending on the day.
good, okay. Anything else?
Motion.
Motion by Director Leclerc to adjourn.
We got a second over
Second
here.
over here.
Second by Director Von Staden. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes, and we are adjourned.